All righty. What's going on? Hey, Dan, how about you do the intro, man? You do the intro. I always do the intro. Let's change it up today. You want to do the intro? You're a podcast host, so you can do
I
it.
am. Thank you, everybody, for joining. As everybody starts to bleed into this meeting here, we're super excited to welcome Ben Whaley from ComboCurve. He's the chief of staff over there. But before we get into that and learning all about you, Ben, Taylor, how is the weather in Nashville?
So, Ben, that's something that we've done starting during COVID. I've always asked Dan what the weather is. The weather right now is 76 degrees. It's partly cloudy, partly sunny or partly cloudy. That really confuses the absolute living heck out of me.
Yeah,
I
it
never
depends on the
know.
percentage of
Are you
clouds
a
that are in
glass
the
half
More
sky.
full or a glass
clouds?
half empty kind of person? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would say it's
I think
partly.
there is a scientific answer, though.
Yeah, I think it's part. If anybody is a meteorologist that tunes in today, please let us know there's between partly sunny and partly cloudy. But I believe it's partly sunny, and I'm excited to be with you guys today.
Ben, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Thunderdome. We're super excited to have you. Chief of Staff of ComboCurve. ComboCurve sounds opaque enough where we can dive into a whole series of different things with you. But tell us a little bit about what you guys do, what problem you guys are trying to solve, and just a little bit about you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thrilled to be here. ComboCurve is a super powerful cloud-based collaborative and forecasting and analysis and economic planning platform for the energy space. So, what we do is give folks the tools, give reservoir engineers, real estate buyers, folks in that energy space, the tools, the access, and the collaborative platform to make energy decisions together.
Oh, that was very well rehearsed. Have you practiced that
It
in front of
was.
the mirror?
Did I? Yeah, maybe too
That
polished.
was
Should I try again?
that was
Ben's
a good
Ben's
first
doing
time doing
reps
that.
before Unicorn Finders. I gotta get this. I gotta crush it.
I love that. So Ben, sounds really good. What does all of that mean? So you guys serve a variety of different parts of the energy sector. Let's start from what you need first, and that's land to drill. So let's talk about real estate. How do you all help companies identify areas for bids and plots of land to do drilling?
Yeah, for sure.
Contracts is
So,
what I'm looking for.
you know, if you're familiar with the real estate industry, um, a big part of the real estate buying process is going through that competitor analysis, right? You look at the comps. What's in your neighborhood? What are other areas of land, other houses like mine selling for? ComboCurve gives you a platform to do that same thing for the energy industry. So if you were trying to decide, should I buy over here? Should I buy over there? Where should I focus, my financial investments? You'd want to have a tool that could help you figure out about what is this land going to be worth to me. So you would take a look at all of the land around that, what's it producing in terms of, oil, gas, any of these fossil fuels or energy providers. You take a look around, you figure out what are they producing. This land looks kind of like that one, so I'm going to estimate it's about worth this, and that's going to help me build my bid or decide what I'm willing to invest in that property.
So sounds very helpful, needful, certainly. Were companies not doing this beforehand? Was it not streamlined well enough? Was data in too many different disparate systems? Were we just kind
Yeah.
of running on gut? How are you guys trying to disrupt that space and enter into that?
Yep. So the legacy softwares that we're up against, um, let me back up a little bit. Part of the power of ComboCurve is that you can do that forecasting and analysis, and then you take all of that information and you plug it right into our economic platform. So, you've got this is what I think it's going to do, and then you can plug it in and say, if I make these changes, if I pull this lever, if I pull X, if I do Y, I can optimize what I'm going to get in various ways. So you've got the forecasting piece, and then you've got this scenario building, modeling platform that allows you to kind of optimize those investments as you're at the same time as you're making them. So that's one of our competitive advantages is your if you're an energy company, your competitors don't have a tool like ComboCurve. They're using, they're using Excel to build those modeling. They're using some legacy softwares that are out there that are sort of on-prem desktop softwares, and they're running different copies of that across every machine for every different engineer that works at that company, who are all running, different elements of this forecasting and analysis in these tools that can take weeks to months to build a single analysis. And then you've got to export all of those different machines, pull that information back together in something like Excel, and then try to make decisions based on that. What ComboCurve allows you to do, everybody's working in a single set of data on this collaborative platform, moving that data back and forth between the different modules where everybody has visibility into the process. And so this competitive advantage that we give is that the time not only to do that analysis speeds up from weeks and months to minutes, hours, and days, but then the collaborative decision-making process essentially goes away because everybody can see the same data. They can make decisions in real time based on what's right in front of them.
That's a fascinating space to be in. I'm curious, when you consider modeling, obviously there's all of your different financial models, from the cost of the land and the piece of real estate that you have to how long it's going to take to build your rigs and be able to ultimately drill into the ground. Most companies, when they buy real estate, are they usually, this is just kind of an industry question, are they usually looking to buy and hold, or are they usually looking to buy, hold, and hope that land value increases, or are they looking to usually buy and drill as soon as they physically can?
I'm going to be honest,
both?
Dan, that's my background. When I joined ComboCurve was kind of making a shift from having a super deep bench of folks with oil and gas experience to try to kind of diversify that bench with some folks with experience outside the industry. And I come from the startup world, but not the oil and gas world, and I can't answer your question, to be honest.
Sure. No, I appreciate the honesty.
Let me ask you this, and this may have already been talked about, and I may have zoned out, so I do apologize. But
Jeez Louise, Taylor.
Well, I'm just being honest here. Basically, who is the buyer of this software, right? Because you're talking about forecasting. It sounds like a small business owner could buy this this software. It sounds like a huge oil conglomerate could buy this software. Like, who's kind of your clientele?
Yeah, we've got a really diverse client set. Everybody from sort of the smallest single operator consultants who are helping moms and pops who have, maybe it's this legacy well that's been passed down in their family for generations, all the way up to, the majors and the super majors.
Yeah.
So it's really one of the benefits of the tool is how simple it is to use. The legacy softwares that we're up against, it's the kind of thing that I
was literally about to ask you what's the pitch, like what's the sell between y'all's versus the.
That's it. That's the sell. Is these legacy softwares that we're up against is the kind of thing that you have to be a reservoir engineer to know. You have to, you learn in college, and then you've been using the same software for 20 years. Super detailed, not well supported, not well documented. You or I could never pick up the Aries software and figure out what my well is worth. On the other hand, say you decide, hey, I want to get into this energy investing. I'm going to, pick up a few parcels and see what I can do with them. You could learn ComboCurve. Our CEO, Armand, always says, you could become a reservoir engineer by the end of the day.
Nice.
While that might
Even
be,
Taylor?
I'm on the job search, so
a tiny bit of a stretch. It really is true that, we support it. Our customer success team answers every ticket within 5 minutes. And they're all reservoir engineers who will hop on a call with you, understand your workflow, try to figure out what you're trying to get out of the software at that moment, and troubleshoot with you live.
Ben, nothing says archaic and old man white beard F-150 like the oil and gas industry does, right?
Dude's just got to clip that for content.
No, No, I mean, I'm
No,
being
I mean, you're
serious,
not
right?
wrong. I'm
Like
just saying that
Yeah.
was so
you
beautifully
have
said.
huge major players that are so large
Hmm.
that almost any potential competitor to them just gets bought up and immediately just put into whatever, gear system that they have, right? Cog and wheel system. You guys, over the last few years, you've raised a bunch of money. You guys have, three-figure client base number. You have a large number of employees, all in the last couple of years. What is it like to disrupt such an archaic industry? And what kind of pushback do you guys get from that? Do you guys ever feel like pressure from like the big archaic companies that are trying to, keep everything
Yeah.
them together?
No, it's an industry that's really ripe for innovation and hungry for things like this. As what we've sort of found, let me step back a little bit, Dan, and say, I've worked for some other, you big name startups. I've worked for Postmates,
Right.
I've worked for Uber, um, both of which have elements of they're disruptors in the way that, Uber's
Sure.
completely disrupted mobility and but as far as driving an economic impact and sort of potential long-term impact on global macroeconomies, like being a part of ComboCurve um, is thrilling. Not everybody gets a chance to sort of drive economic and be at
Hmm.
the focus of driving, potential macroeconomic change and changing the way the world operates. And ComboCurve could really help do that in the way that we help drive, sort of democratize this decision making. Um, so I don't know if that's what you were really asking, but
Well,
I'm
so
thrilled
so I
about that.
guess
So
yeah, no, I obviously your background is awesome. Postmates, Uber, etc. I guess my question is more for you guys. You mentioned before. I know Aries was one.
hmm
Pre-show you had mentioned another company that's kind of in this space, sort of kind of convoluted, archaic, old, but it's already ingrained in a lot of of the companies that you're trying to sell to.
yeah.
What do you guys find? Maybe you don't, right? Maybe it's just such a great tool that it's easy. But do you guys find a lot of change management pushback, or a lot of, these systems have been in place for so
Yeah,
long that,
didn't think about that.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Does that question make
Yeah,
more
no,
sense?
it's a good question. So you're totally right that when you're thinking about these, super major global operators or these,
Hmm.
gigantic financial institutions that are, own a ton of these assets or lending, financing a bunch of these, these purchasing decisions that folks are making, those institutions, I think I was saying this earlier, like those institutions don't turn on a dime. It's like, steering a massive ship, and the arc of change is pretty slow when it comes to those. And, I guess our strategy in the face of that is really to focus on the value prop, to come in and say, take us through your workflow. This is, it's a it's a no-brainer when you say, take us through your workflow. Explain to us what you're doing. Okay, the data comes from here and it goes to these folks, and then they all do their work and it takes about this long, and then you've got
Hmm.
to try to compile it back together. And once we sit down with them, we take those workflows, we do that analysis with them, and we show them the power of doing that analysis inside ComboCurve. Um, it seems like SaaS, jargon to just say, the product starts to sell itself, but it
Yeah.
really does when you're addressing um, such a pivotal pain and unlocking such powerful collaboration. If we can get in the door, we can, uh, if we can get in the door, the value is there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
and I want to give you all props. I was looking at your website just now. I mean, you guys are SOC 1 Type 2 and SOC 2 Type 2 certified, which
compliant. Yep.
yeah, I know
Yep.
it's not a easy task.
No, we've got to, because we are in this sector where we're helping drive decision making in the
Hmm.
billions of dollars range. It's critical to us to have button up processes. Our
Yeah.
security protocols
Hmm.
would shock some with their rigor, but it's all led with this intense desire to be a company with integrity that our customers can really trust.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Ben, what's next for you guys? You guys got a bunch of money. Obviously, grow, continue to expand.
Yeah.
What's next for you all? You guys offer a variety of different things. I know we've only talked about a few of them. A variety of different services, but what's next for you guys? Is it just continuing to really hone in on these tools and enhance them? Is it to try to enter new spaces? Because to me, as much as the oil and gas industry makes sense, it does seem to me like there might be opportunities in farming agriculture, right?
Hmm.
It seems to me like there might be some other areas too where we can talk about yield, or we can talk about land value and be
Sure.
able to grow that way. So are those areas that you guys are looking to get into as well, or?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, right now our deep bench of experiences in oil and gas. We're primarily focused
Hmm.
on that energy industry. There's 80% of the world's energy comes from fossil fuels right now. So we're
Hmm.
focused on that because that's where our experience lies. You'll see us very quickly, I think, potentially expand into something like the renewables space, where we
Okay.
can help drive those energy decisions as well. But at its core, ComboCurve is a tool that could be used by anyone who has sort of a portfolio of assets and wants to understand the implication of pulling different levers on the financial impact of those assets. So you could use it to
Mm.
model things like real estate would be a super easy application. Should I buy this
Hmm.
kind of condo or that kind of condo, or this set
Right.
of apartments, etc. You could use it for yeah, farming, agriculture. That's a good one. Anything that if you've got a collection of assets and you want to figure out what they're worth and how to drive a higher impact, ComboCurve could be used for something like that.
Yeah, and
I
if you
do
want to
maybe
talk
I'll
to Armand or Jeremy, just let them know it's my idea. Throw me a couple, percentage points of equity, and
yeah,
they can.
man, you
I can
got
even
it.
serve on the
So.
board of directors. I don't even need equity. Just fly me
I'll let
out to.
I'll let Armand know. He'll be
Yeah,
excited.
I mean, the next Malibu meeting that you guys have, or
Yeah,
Whistler, where we can just powwow. Just a few
you
ideas.
got
I'm
it.
an idea
You got
guy.
it. I'd be remiss though if I didn't throw out just a minute to talk about our carbon product because it is our newest
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
product.
I was actually about to ask, like, as we wrap up here, is there anything that you kind of want to highlight?
Yeah, let me talk just a minute about our carbon product. So the power of our carbon product is that it lays, everyone right now is focused on emissions. Everybody, and that's a key part of making sort of responsible, not only environmental but responsible economic decisions with these assets as well. We got to figure out, what's the impact of what I'm doing on these greenhouse gas emissions. That's driven by investors, that's driven by the government, and that's driven by the stakeholders of these clients, the employees, the customers who are buying this energy. We want to help our customers answer those questions. And so what our carbon product does is it lays on top of our economic platform so that you can it pulls in all of the sort of publicly available emissions data out there that's by the presented by the EPA, and it allows you to model the impact not just in a financial sense but in a environmental impact sense as well. So say I want to change all of my rigs from being diesel powered to electric powered. What's
Mm.
the impact on my emissions? What's the impact on my, financial portfolio? And if I do that plus, say reducing my flaring by a certain percent, how does that increase or affect my net present value? So that you
Mm.
can drive emissions decisions and economic decisions at the same time. Because at the end of the day, you know, we want to be investing responsibly, but they're still investments, and it's a lot easier to stomach those changes if you can those regulatory environmental requirements if you can do that in such a way that it doesn't affect sort of your bottom line.
Ben,
So we get the tools for that.
Ben, would it be accurate? And I could be way wrong here, and I usually am. You can ask my wife.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. He is.
Shut up, Dan. Are you guys like trying? Could it
Mm.
be accurate that you guys are trying to be like the one-stop shop for anything like energy,
Yeah,
oil?
I think that
Mm.
is at the end of the day, our vision is to be the operating platform for energy. So if you're
Yeah,
making
that's the vibe
operations,
I'm kind of getting
production,
from y'all.
economic decisions,
Yeah.
um, you know, the goal is in a year or two, you're doing that. Everybody's doing that on ComboCurve.
Yeah, because I would imagine just because of how archaic this industry is, and there's not a lot of new things coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure a lot of these systems, let's be honest, man, are just breaking, and they're like, we got to go find somebody who can, who can do Fortran because it's built on Fortran or Delphi or all these old tech, right?
Yeah.
And so you're probably wanting to get in front of these CIOs, CTOs of these companies and be like, hey, listen, like we need to we need a one-stop shop. And I
Right.
feel like that's what you guys
Right.
basically you guys trying to be synonymous with energy and that type of thing, I think is awesome. I think it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Think about it in terms of economic impact, overhead, the costs of collaboration, but also then think about it in terms of a security impact. Everything you've got is locked down in one system, one software that's gated. You know exactly who's doing what, exactly where the information lives. It's not, changing hands against a million different documents and tools. Everything's right here at your fingertips, no matter where you are, but it's locked down and secure in ComboCurve.
That's awesome. Sweet.
Really cool, man. No, I don't think so. Fascinating product, really cool. I'm gonna follow and learn more about you guys and just kind of keep up. But what a cool product! What a cool way to
Yeah.
disrupt a business or industry that I know could probably use some disruption.
We're thrilled. Yeah, thanks for giving me the chance to talk about it. This was fun.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening. Ben, we're going to kick you off, and Dan and I are just going to chit chat a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you're more than welcome to, watch us from afar and
fact check us in the
see
chat.
what you say about me. Yeah, I'm curious.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right,
thanks,
y'all.
man. Appreciate you.
Thanks
buddy.
so much. Appreciate you both.
Thanks, brother.
Bye. Listen, this industry is way
I know what
above
you're gonna
my head,
say. Yeah,
but it's pretty cool. I think it probably feels like this industry needs something like that.
Yes. Doing a bit of research, chatting with Ben, and then knowing what I know. We were talking to Ben. I've got a client of mine that's in the oil and gas space. They're in more of the peripheral flow and leak detection space. I know that it's an industry that is archaic for a lot of their own choosing. There's, in my opinion, it's a gatekeeper mentality.
Yeah.
I think it's challenging to disrupt industries that are so large.
I mean, can you imagine the
important.
conversations they're probably having with these oil and gas individuals who've been at it for a good gazillion years? They're like, our system's fine. Like, I can't even imagine like the sales cycle to convince to implement it.
Right. And when we were talking to Ben just a second ago, kind of about change management, right? Like you've been doing a lot of things the same way for so long, right? But there's a ripe opportunity to address some of those issues now, especially as the workforce gets a little bit older, new individuals rise into leadership roles where there are tools that can be multi-pronged and do more than one thing, right? We don't need to use one software to do one thing 6 different times to do 6 different things if we can put it all in one, right? Security makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Data collection, data integrity, data analysis being in one area. To me, that's a huge opportunity that they're providing into that space. But more importantly, like the generations that are following in terms of leadership and in terms of people that are going to be doing these kind of, roles want simplistic tools that look pretty, that provide analysis in lightning speed, right? Everything that we do as a society right now is in lightning speed. Like when you open your cell phone and you try to open a website, if it doesn't load right away, you've probably lost interest and you're going to move on, right? The same thing goes, in my opinion, when you're looking at software, when you're looking at analysis and data, that yes, data integrity is important, but speed is important. And if you can get a day faster, a week faster, a month faster than some of your competitors, and be able to make that purchase or make that decision or choose to walk away before you've invested too much money in that decision, that's where, in my opinion, there's a huge opportunity.
Yep. I totally agree.
Shout out to Michelle. Her and I are on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to get people to change from status quo for sure. Well, I can't imagine. I'd be curious to talk with some ComboCurve engineers, and what they've seen from like a data cleanup perspective on the back end when they're trying to
I'm
integrate
sure it's
everything.
crappy,
I
right?
know.
Like, I'm sure a lot of data is crappy, right? And like, listen, when you're dealing with an old, archaic industry, right? Not saying there hasn't been improvement in it, right? But in archaic industry, whenever you introduce something that could potentially make the business run better, but potentially change somebody's job, there's always going to be huge pushback,
So true.
right?
So true.
So I think what they're doing is fascinating. They obviously have um, a huge opportunity and runway ahead. Like you don't just get thrown that kind of money in that industry
No.
unless they
Yeah.
truly think that you can disrupt it,
I mean,
right?
50 million investment is substantial.
Yeah, I mean that's a solid amount of money. That's
Yeah.
a decent celebration dinner. Probably in Malibu or something.
100%.
You know,
100%.
maybe what's in Napa Valley.
There you
I love
go.
it though. No, it's gonna be fascinating to watch because if they're there with this kind of money in 6 years, 5 years,
Yeah.
where they can do this money over the next 5 years is awesome. Or it's
Yeah.
going to be awesome to watch. Hopefully they just don't get gobbled up by a big one and they just throw in as another tool on the back end, you know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. Then yeah, Michelle, it's hard to pull apart spaghetti code, which they likely have. Oh yeah. I mean, I think if you're on the tech side of Combo Curve, I'm sure it's a lot of fun and very frustrating at the same time. So cool. Well, Dan, thanks for hanging out, buddy. Appreciate you.
Second to last time with you at Vaco, Taylor.
Yeah, we'll figure out the future. We'll figure out the future of this
No,
thing.
no, I
So
just said with you at Vaco.
yes, exactly.
Everybody, Taylor's leaving me. After
I'm
10
just
years
leaving
of
Dan.
being
That's it. I'm not
college.
leaving anybody
After
else.
t-
It's
I
just
wasn't
Dan.
even featured in I wasn't even featured in the goodbye video, so I know where I fall on the ladder
Shut
here.
up. Shut up.
But
I love you. You know that. All right,
all
guys.
right, we're getting
Y'all
a
have a
little
good
too
one.
sappy for unicorn finders.
We'll see y'all
Thanks for
next week.
watching, everybody. Thanks for participating. Like, share, comment, subscribe, connect with us on LinkedIn. Buy
Peace.
from our advertisers if you want to be an advertiser. We're open to that as well. See you guys.
You got anything else, Dan? You good?
That's it.
All
I'm
right,
good.
bye.